Hello everyone. Welcome to our 12 days 12 use case webinar series. In today's webinar, we will be creating mobile application for one of the popular books website, Blinkist. We will be using Blinkist to demonstrate that using Twinr, you can convert any book's website into mobile apps. So if you have a books website with a features like books reading or audio books listening and everything and built upon any website technology, then you can use Twinr to convert it into mobile apps. All those books related features will work out of the box using Twinr. So now let's start creating mobile application for the Blinkist website. So let's go to the portal and then create our application by clicking on this create a button. Okay, so Blinkist is a books basically application, right, related to application, so which doesn't really fit to any of the pre-built templates here. So I'm gonna go with the blank application. Okay, create a blank app. The name will be Blinkist. Let's copy the website URL, which will be this one. That's what we want as a first screen, right? Industry will be books, which will be our first industry, and the website platform is Ruby on Rails. Okay. Now you see there are two new options introduced here, which is remove header and remove footer. Okay, so from Twinr 2.0, we are introducing Twinr automation engine. Twinr automation engine will do a lot of manual work for you automatically. Okay, so that means until now, if you had to remove a header and footer from your mobile application, then that was a manual task. But now, if you just enable these switches, okay, Twinr automation engine will do it for you. You don't need to do it manually, right? At the same time, what other things Twinr automation engine will do is to find out some important screens automatic for you. So for example, if in the books scenario, maybe the categories or the account, those screens are really important in the application, right? So Twinr automation engine will automatically find out those URLs for you as well. Okay. Yeah. So that's what basically the Twinr automation engine is, right? Now let's click on build application button and build it. Okay. So we have the application created here. Now we have three different options here. Let's first understand that. The first option is application dashboard, so which will bring us to a dashboard, and from where we will be able to do all the customizations and setups of the application. Okay. The second option is the preview application option. So it will bring you to the preview application URL here. If you have an Android mobile, then I would highly recommend installing this application in your mobile. So what is the Twinr preview app? So when you will be working on your application, right, using Twinr preview application, you will be able to preview your changes in a real time in your physical device, in your Android mobile. So it will give you an exact idea that how your application will look like in a real device, right? So the Twinr preview app is really useful. So I would highly recommend installing it as a first step, right, before you start customizing and doing any other things inside the application. Okay. Now, if you don't have an Android mobile, then also don't worry about it. We do have a integrated simulated devices to test in the portal that you can utilize. Okay, so I'll explain about it later on when we'll come to that point. But for now, let's move forward. And the third button is the delete button, which is a self-explanatory button to delete an application. Okay, so let's go inside the application dashboard. Now on the home screen, we see 4 steps here, which is a preview app. That's the first step. We already discussed about that. The second one is branding, where it will basically suggesting us to set up a branding related information, app theme, and the customized screen. So we will be following these 4 steps one by one: preview, branding, app theme, and customized screens. And that's how we'll be completing our application. Okay. Next one is live chat. So whenever you are working on your application and you encounter any issues or you need our help or you have some questions for us, you can always click on this live chat button here and you can connect with our support, and someone will reach out to you and they will help you over the chat immediately. And we also have a step-by-step video tutorial on YouTube. So if you just go through these videos step by step, it will cover all the steps, setting up your branding and theme and screen customization. All the features will be explained there one by one, and app publishing as well being covered in this video. So yeah, if you are creating your application first time on Twinr, then I would highly recommend going through this tutorial series as well. Okay, so now let's go to branding section and start setting up our application information. The first thing, application name, which is already there, so I don't need to do any changes. When user will install an application, it will be displayed like this. Okay, iOS bundle ID and Android package name, not really useful for now. We will be using this information when we will be creating an publishing an application to Play Store and App Store. Okay, so I'm gonna skip that information for now. Next one is application icon. So let's update the application icon, and whatever the icon I will select here, it will be displayed when user will install an application. It will be displayed like this. Okay, so let's go to Blinkist here and select the Blinkist logo and update it. Okay, now let's go to the launch screen here. So launch screen is basically the first screen that user will see when they will open an application. Okay, so this is, you can just consider launch screen as for the marketing purpose or for the branding purpose, but launch screen is kind of a standard in Android and iOS devices. So you need to upload the launch screen image with 1062 by 2100 size resolution. Okay, so let me upload this image as well, which is this one, and update this. Okay, now the next part is app permissions. Now this is really important here. So app permissions means, for example, in your website, you have a profile menu where your user can update their profile picture. Now in the website, they can select a profile picture from the local directory, their website, the laptop or desktop's local directory, right? But in the mobile, that's not the situation. In mobile, actually, they can use either camera or photo library to select their photo, right? But when user will try to access these features, these native capabilities, right, they will need to first of all provide a permission. So we need to ask the permission from the user that please allow us to access your camera, right, so you can capture the photo and update your profile picture. Okay, so that's what the app permission means. Here we have 5 different permission for different use cases. Okay, now let's go to camera and understand that. Okay, so here inside the camera we have 2 different messages, message and the permission rationale message. So this message means when you will be asking the permission for the permission for the first time, right, this message will be displayed with the permission alert, that why you should allow the permission. Okay, and the alert will be having a allow and don't allow button based on different permissions. So if user will select allow, they will be able to use the camera feature and they will be able to capture the photo and do all the next things as it is, right, or the happy use case. But for example, if user will not allow to access the camera, right, now they will not be able to use the camera in your application. So next time when they will try to access the camera, right, now again we cannot ask the permission. We cannot ask the permission every time user try to access the camera. We can ask only once. So how we can let the user know that, you know, like you have disabled the permission earlier, so now you cannot enable it again directly from here, but you need to go to the settings screen. Okay, so as you all know that every application has their own settings screen in Android and iOS, right? So if user wants to enable this permission again, then they will need to go to the settings screen to enable it, right? So that's where the permission rationale message comes in place. So permission rationale message is next time moving forward, whenever user will try to access any of the feature which they have denied before, any of the permission that they have denied before, right, in that situation it will be display the permission rationale message. So permission rationale message will have 2 buttons, cancel button and the settings button. When user click on the settings button, it will directly open your application settings. Okay, so user don't need to go there manually, but permission rationale message will help them to bring to just go there, right? So this message is really very useful and you should highly utilize it, and you should really convince your users that why you should provide this permission. Okay, that's first thing. Now why you should consider these messages or take these messages very seriously, because if you will not provide this information properly, this messages properly, particularly this particular message, right, the first permission message, then Apple can reject your application as well. Okay, and they will give you a reason that whatever the message you are providing with the permission, right, this is not really aligned with the features you have in your application. So whenever you are deciding this message, okay, you should write down a message based on the purpose, that why your users will be accessing camera in your application, just to update a profile picture, or there is more than that. Okay, so you should decide this message very carefully, right? And then and then basically you can just get rid of those kind of Apple rejections. Okay, so let me enable this permission, camera permission, because obviously those permissions are basic permissions that we use. Another thing is app tracking transparency permission that I want to utilize. Microphone is not really useful for me, right? So app tracking transparency is really useful when your application falls under GDPR compliance. So if your application is asking for a cookie policies, right, then app tracking transparency permission is must to enable. Otherwise, Apple will for sure reject your application. Okay, so if your application falls under GDPR compliance, first thing you need to do is to enable this permission. Okay, so let me enable this as well. The another use case for app tracking transparency, if you want to track your users for your analytics purpose, for your tracking purpose, and for your better understanding that how user is using your application and everything, right? If any of the third-party library that you are using requires this permission, then also you can enable this permission. Save it as a draft. And then the last one is location, which is not really important for Blinkist, for the books application, so I'm gonna skip that as well. Okay, so that's what the permission means, right? All the application permission means. Now let's go to the next part, which is our app theme. Okay, so before going to the app theme, let's first of all see that how our application looks like, that the one that we have created. Let's preview it in the preview app, right? Okay, so I'm going to go here, reload this, and then I have a Blinkist app here with the logo and everything. So let's click on it. Okay, all good. So I have a home screen here with all this information here, right? And then everything is good here. Okay, perfect. So now the next step for me is obviously, first of all, I want to figure out that what could be my brand settings, my theme settings here, right? Now for the tab bar, so we right now only have one screen here, so tab bar is not visible at the moment. Okay, but once it will be visible, we will be able to see the more for those information. So let's keep the tab bar theme setup for now. Okay, and let's focus on the navigation bar. So navigation bar means this top bar here where you can see the home title here, right? This is not from the website, that's a native one. Okay, so when we want to match the branding with our application, I would highly recommend changing these colors and these settings as well. But for now, Blinkist also using the black color, right? And for the navigation bar as well, we are using the black title color. So I'm gonna keep it as it is, that's fine. Okay, but in terms of the font size and everything they are using, this title size, it looks a bit smaller to me. So let me increase it to around 18 pixel, 3 pixel more. Let's go here and reload this. So you see, now my title is a bit bigger, and which looks perfect with the whatever size and the text size they are following. Okay, now let's go to the screens menu, and first of all, as I explained before, related to preview application, that if you don't have an Android mobile, right, then you can utilize these simulated integrated devices as well. So here what this simulated device looks like. Okay, it's gonna be exactly similar to this preview application here. Okay, so if you don't have Android mobile or iOS mobile, you can just use these devices here. Okay, so I'm gonna close it for now because I'm not going to use it. I have my preview application with me. Okay, so first thing, let's create 4 different screens first, right? So we can see the tab bar, and then we can do some more theming, customization and everything. So My first screen is home, but what I can see here in the blink is that the name is for you, right? So I'm gonna change this name to for you, sorry, like this. Okay, URL is good, and then save it as a draft. Now their icon styles are a little bit different, so let me update this tab icon as well, and let me use something that they are using, which is this one for the unselected icon. And for the selected icon, we are going to use the icon with their branding color and save it as a draft. Okay, and then let's reload this, and we don't see it anything here because we have only single screen. So now let's create screens as well. So the next screen that I want to create here is explore screen. That means where I can find out my books and everything, right? So let's use this screen, which looks more important to me. URL and the screen icon. So let me select the explore screen icon as well, update this, add, and let's select the selected icon as well, which is this one, update it and save it as a draft. Okay, so now let's go here and reload this, and you see we have this selected icon here, we have unselected icon here as well, but because of it's a white color, it doesn't really display it right now. Okay, so what I want to do, let's go to app theme first. Okay, and fix our tab bar. Okay, so the theming means basically to match your branding guidelines, right? So if I go to the Blinkist website, they are basically using this black color, blue color, and this green color, right? So green is kind of their branding color. So I'm going to use green color for the selected item. So here let me update this to selected color, which is 2CE080. This is their branding color. This is what their branding color is. Unselected color, they are kind of using, like for the icons we are using a white color, right? So obviously for the unselected color, I want to use white color here to match that, right? And for the background color, now we are using green and white for a selected unselected, so background color cannot be white color. So let me use one of their light blue color that they are using, which is 0C2F. This is what they are using as a background color. Okay, and then let's go here and reload this. Okay, so you see now it looks perfect. My white icons are visible, my white text is visible as well. So if I go to explore here, this one is visible as well. So both the screen looks good to me. Okay, now let's go to screens again and then add more screens. Okay, now next one that I want to add here is a my library screen. So let's go here, my library, URL here, and select the library icon. Update this, add a screen, and then let's update the selected icon, which will be library with a brand color, and select and save it as a draft. Okay, add one more screen, which will be settings screen. Okay, so let's get the settings screen URL, and then screen icon, which will be this one, add a screen, and then select the selected icon as well, and save it as a draft. Okay, so now let's go here and reload the screen. Okay, so you see now we have 4 different screens available here, which is all good. So we have all the screens created, and when we create a screens here, okay, what we need to keep in mind that I want to create a screens for those pages which is more important and frequently used by my users. Okay, so here we can see the home screen is obviously really very important, right? Explore is one of the important screen, because if it's a books website, then users will be searching for the different books and everything, right? My library is important here because whatever books I have started reading or I have started listening to, right, this is where I can see my library, basically all my favorite books, all my saved books and everything. So that's why my library is really important to get the quick access to that, right? And the settings screen is obviously really important if I want to provide few extra settings here. Okay, perfect. But now, as we can see that, for example, if I log out from here, from my application, right, and then I reload this, so you see now all the screens actually requires a login, right? All these screens requires a login. My library requires login as well. All the screens requires login. So obviously that means that before user come to my application, or before user see home screen, explore, my library, or settings screen, right, we need to ask user for the login first, and then after only they must be able to see these things, right? Okay, so now let's set up our login screen first to fix this issue. Okay, so I go to the login here, right, and I enable the login feature. So then after, my next question is, does your application require login at the start? Then I say yes, because my application does require login at the start, right? And do you want to keep users logged in every time they open an app? So I will select yes as well. So when every time they come to the mobile application, right, I want to keep them logged in, so they don't need to log in every time they open an app. Okay, now the next thing is a login status check script. This is really important part of the login feature, where you need to prepare one script, right? And this script should return a proper status based on the current authentication status. If user is currently logged in, that it should return logged in. If it's user is currently not logged in, then it should return not logged in, right? If you have any authentication error like wrong username, password, or something like that, then you should return auth. The script should return auth error. Okay, or if the status is not, not from any of those three, then it should just return unknown. Okay, so I have already prepared a script for that, and let me copy it here. Okay, so here I can see here I have provided four different steps, four different statuses here, that if I found this element, that means it's an authentication error. If I found this element, then it's not logged in, or else it's logged in, and else if there is anything from this, then basically the last one is unknown. Okay, so my login status script is there. Now let's find out the login page selector. The first one we need to provide is the login form selector. So login form identifier basically. Okay, so let me log out from here as well, and then go to the login screen. Okay, which is, I think, if I'll write /login, then also, yeah, there you go, login screen. So now first of all I need to find out the selector for the login form. So let's inspect here and click on this little arrow icon, and then go here to find out the form. Okay, so we go inside this div and we see our form is here. Okay, which is under this div element, but this identifier is not directly a form. This is basically a container of the form, right? So form is inside this element, but form doesn't have any unique identifier or anything like that. So what I'll do, I'll copy this class name, okay, and paste it here, and then add a space. So whenever, for example, okay, so first of all let me add dot at the start, because it's a class name, so we need to append dot at the start. Okay, now whenever we want to use the child element of this particular element, so right now div is a parent element and form is child of this element, right? So what I can do, now my div element is this one with this class name, right? And then space, I will write form. That space means the child element. Okay, so space and the child element. So this will be my login form selector. Now let's find out submit button selector. So submit button selector will be, let's again select this arrow icon, and the login with email will be my submit button. So submit button identifier is login v2 submit. Okay, so I'm gonna use dot at the start and then the class name. Username field selector, so let's go to the email field here, and then the email ID is this one. If there is an ID, then I would always prefer using ID. If the ID is not there, then the second priority will be a unique identifier from class here. or any of the class names here, right? If not, then you can use these kind of elements as well, name equal to login email and everything as well. Okay, so here we have id available, so let's use it. And when you use id, you need to append hash at the start. Okay, and for the password as well, let's go there and then hash and the password field and save it as a draft. Okay, so our login general setting is done. Now let's go to the login page. So login page URL is our home page URL right now, but that's not we want. We want this one as a login page URL. Okay, and then any other page URL which requires login to open. So this page really requires login as well, right? So I can use this URL as an authenticated URL here. Okay, now URL policy, remove element, CSS and script. So if you want to apply any of these settings, particularly on the login screen, then you can utilize these features as well. Okay, but I'm gonna skip that for now. We will be looking about all these features in our next screen customization section discussion. So I'll be covering at that point. Now save it as a draft. Now let's go to app here and reload this. Let me go back here and open it again. Okay, so currently I'm logged in inside the application, right? And that's why you see it directly bring me to this tab screens. Okay, so now let me log out from here. So you see now I'm on the login screen again, because now I'm not logged in, so it hide all the tab bar and everything for me, right? It hides everything from me. Okay, so now let me log in here with my account. So now let me log in here. So you see now I'm logged in, so I can see all the screens, everything, tab bar and everything. I can see it back. Every time I will refresh here, it will stays there. Okay, all good. So now let's go there. Let's go back and start customizing some more thing. Okay, so the first thing that I want to customize now is about my screen. So if we go here to go to our website and log in again here, right, then I see the header here like this. Okay, but let's go to the hamburger menu first. So for you, library, explore, settings, all these things are basically I have covered as a screens here. You see home, explore, my library, settings, everything is being covered here. Most of the options are being covered. Logout button, we can add the logout button in the settings screen, so we can cover that as well, right? We can add highlight a button somewhere as well. So basically if we cover all these options outside of the hamburger menu, then we don't really need to use this hamburger menu in the application, right? So for that, what we will do, we will be removing this element. Okay, so let's select this element, select this hamburger button, right? And then we see this is what the hamburger button is, right? Now this button is not having any element. Okay, so as I've explained before, that if this button is not having any unique identifier, then what we will do, we will use the identifier from the parent class, right? And then we attach this child with spacing there. Okay, so in the parent class, most probably this border plate mint gray looks unique to me. Okay, so let's see, it's being used at only two places. So obviously one is in the CSS class here, then another one is at this particular element here itself. Okay, so let's copy this class name, go to the portal, and under the general settings, remove elements. Okay, you see one footer element is already here, so let's add a new element. Now I want to remove this hamburger from everywhere, this button from everywhere, right? So what I'm gonna do, if I want to remove it from everywhere, then I will be adding it to the general settings, remove element section. So whatever we will be doing under the general settings, it will be applicable for throughout an application. Okay, so let's add an element here, dot, and the element name. And then we know that we don't want to remove that complete element because that's a parent element here, right? We don't want to remove the complete header, but we only want to remove the button from the child, from the children, right? So what we will do, we'll add a space and then button and save it as a draft. And then let's go here. Let's visit that all the pages are good here. Yeah, everything is good. Reload this. Okay, perfect. So you see now there is no hamburger button here, right? Perfect. Let's go to the next one. So what I want to do, if I'm using a mobile application, right, building a mobile application, then obviously I want to utilize native components as much as possible, right? So what I will do, I want to move this logo in the navigation bar here, so I can remove it from the from this place. Okay, so let's do that. Let's remove this element. Select this logo here, right, and then let's see that what is the identifier of that logo, which is this SVG here. Okay, so let's see if we have a unique class which is a Blinkist logo. Let's copy this and go here and add that element as well, Blinkist logo, and save it as a draft. Go here and then reload this. So now logo is not there as well. Now there is only search at the top, which looks perfect because that's what we want, right? Okay. Now next thing, what we will be removing is the footer part. Okay, so let's go to website again, and as we can see here, we don't really need this footer, right? So let's select this footer element and let's see what's the unique footer here. So for me, what I can see here, okay, BG pale mint gray, this what looks like a proper footer to me, but let's see if that's the situation here. Not really, because that's being used at multiple places. Okay, so we cannot use that. Let's again go here and inside, oh yeah, there you go, we have this footer section here, which is this one. Okay, so let's copy this and then go to remove elements and add footer. Now because this is element itself, right, the footer is elements itself, so we don't really need to append anything at the start, just save it as a draft. And then let's go here and reload this. So you see now the footer is not there anymore. Okay, perfect. So next thing is, like, if we go to the accounts settings screen here, then we yeah, you see this the top here about downloading, installing an application. So we don't really need this as well because we are already in the application itself, right? So let's do that. Let's remove it as well. For that one, in the websites account screen, we won't be able to see that actually. So if I go to settings here, let me reload this and then switch. Yeah, so I don't see it here, but it is being displayed in the mobile application only. So I think Blinkist might have done some kind of user agent identification, and then only they are displaying in the mobile devices. Okay, so I already found out the identifier for that, which is this one. So let me add that as well. Smart banner container. Okay, and then let's reload this and go to the settings screen, and you see now I don't see that anymore, so that's also good. Okay, so now if we look at the account screen, okay, there is one separate heading here which is different from the other screens, right? So let's remove that as well. We want to remove this header completely. So let's select this header part, and we can see this header is under this header element. So let's copy this header and go here and add the element, save it as a draft, and let's reload this. So we don't see that anymore, right? Now the settings header is also, you know, like repetitive because we have title here, we have title here as well. So I don't need this title from the website. So let's remove that as well. And to find out, let's go here. This title is this one, but I think this is the basic parent class, which is settings v2 banner. Okay, Now this banner is actually only related to setting screen, so we don't really need to add this to the general level, but we go to the settings screen, remove elements, and that's where we add the element and save it as a draft. And then we reload this again, settings, and we don't see it anymore as well. Now on the settings screen, I can see the footer is also different here from other pages, right? Okay, so let's remove the footer as well. Let's go here and select footer. So I think the footer is div class footer. So let's copy this footer and then go to the settings screen. And again, now we want to remove it only from the settings screen. So either we can edit that at the settings level. So let's do that. Footer and save it as a draft, right? Let's reload this settings screen, and then we don't see that, but still there is a Facebook and all those social media icons. So let's remove that as well. So which is this one, and that's a footer bottom. Yeah, that's footer bottom. So let's copy that as well. Footer bottom, and then go to portal again, add this element, footer bottom, and save it as a draft. Let's go here, reload this, and then let's go to settings, and we don't see that anymore. Okay, so our settings screen looks good, our library screen looks good, explore screen looks good, home screen looks good, everything is good here. Now the only thing remaining in the customization is we need to add the logo on the home screen navigation bar, right? So let's go to home screen navigation bar, title type, change it to image, and then select the logo here. Okay, and save it as a draft. Now let's reload this again. Okay, so this logo is actually very big. So now to make it smaller, we need to go to app theme, title image height and title image width. Now because this logo is square, so I'm gonna select the similar height and similar width, which can be either 40 by 40 because I need almost half of that. Let's reload this. That's look good. Perfect. Okay, now let's move this logo to the left hand side because that's where they have displayed their logo as well, on the left hand side. So in the screens menu, go to the home navigation bar, left hand, and save it as a draft. Okay, perfect. Now I have found out one more important screen in Blinkist, which is they have a referral program as well. Okay, so for example, if I go to their website here, right, then let me go to settings. I think that's where I have found out. Yeah, but that's fine. I have found out somewhere that they have a referral program, and referral program is always important to highlight because referral program will help you to bring more users, right? So what I want to do on the home page somewhere, I want to highlight that referral program URL as well, which is this one. Let me bring up that URL as well. This one. This is the referral program. Okay, so what I want to do, let's copy this URL and create one button on the home screen, which so we are on the home screen right now. Under the navigation bar, we can create one native button, which is a linker button. Let's select an icon here. Actually, we can use any general icon. We have a gift icon here. Gift, there you go, which will be good, perfect for the referral program. Add this and save it as a draft. Yeah, and let's refresh this. Okay, so you see now on my home screen, user will be able to find out the referral program information as well, which looks good. Okay, so what else remaining here? Yeah, we forgot that in our hamburger menu we had logout button as well, right? So we need to add the logout button in the settings screen. So now let's go to settings screen, navigation bar, and on the right hand side, let's add a linker button, and the button icon, which is logout. Let me, yeah, this one, logout, update, select this icon. Let's go to their website and get the logout URL. So this is the logout URL that we want. Actually, let's use their own icon. I have the custom icon available here, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, there you go, logout.png. Update this and then the URL. Okay, so logout URL. So as we can see, let me first of all inspect this element. Oops. Inspect this, right, and select this logout element. Okay, so the logout URL is, if you hover it, then it's like blinkist.com/nc/logout. I don't want to click on it, otherwise it's gonna log me out. Okay, so let's go here, and I have the logout URL prepared here as well, this one. Okay, save it as a draft, and now let's go to settings again, and then we have a logout button here as well. So if I click on it, it's gonna log me out, which is perfect. Okay, so let me log in again here. Okay, all good. So I'm logged in again inside the application. So our logout button is working fine. Everything is working fine. I think all the settings on the customizations at the screen level, we did that. Now the next part is to look at our add-ons, and let's add some extra native capabilities to our application, right? So until now we did set up our theme, we did customize our screens, add new screens, customize navigation bar, removed elements and everything. So everything looks good here. Okay, so now the next thing, let's go to add-ons, and here we have 9 different extensions available. Okay, so page loader, pull to refresh are pretty simple and pretty easy to understand. So we can use those features. So let me update it. I'm gonna keep the loader color white, but let's update the loader style. So let me use this one. Yeah, basically you can select anything. We have more than 45 styles listed here. Okay, so you can use any one that you want, and you can also apply colors on that. So whatever color you will select from the previous screen, right, from the general screen here, whatever color you will select here, basically this is gonna be used with that color. Okay, now let's go here again and reload this. So you see now our loader is being of a different style. Okay, page loader, pull to refresh as well. So for example, if I change my pull to refresh color to something else instead of a black color, so first of all, let's understand what is pull to refresh. So if I go to my application here, and then if I pull down my screen and then release it again, then it's gonna refresh the screen, right? So that's what the pull to refresh is. So I can change the color of this refresher here. You see that black refresher is going there, so I can change the color of that. Let's use a brand color here, which is this 2C0, this one, and save it as a draft. Now let's go here again, reload this, and let me refresh. So you see now it's of a brand color. Yeah, so that's how we can customize pull to refresh as well. Let's update custom fonts. Now the font that Blinkist is using, okay, yeah, so it's kind of Martel sans. So let me save it as a draft, and then let's reload this, and let's go to explore. So you see this font they are using. Okay, and we have customized font as well. So we are providing 1400 plus fonts, so you can select from 1400 plus different fonts, which will be whatever font is basically matching with your brand, you can just select it. Okay, now before I'm going to skip no internet view and other extensions, but the most important one here is the in-app purchase. Okay, because Blinkist is providing a subscription based pricing, right? So if we go to their pricing screen here, then they have two different pricing plans, yearly and monthly. Now because this is a digital content, okay, you cannot use the purchase integration whatever you have on your website, because as per the Apple and Android policies, you must use in-app purchase, you must use their in-app purchase setups, okay, if you have a digital content and subscription based pricing models like this. So let's first of all understand that what is in-app purchase, right? What are different kind of in-app purchases are there, right? And how we can set it up. Okay. So first of all, what I'll do, okay, so in-app purchase, so there are 4 different kind of in-app purchases: consumable, non-consumable, auto-renewable and non-renewable. Okay. Consumable means user can purchase this multiple times. Okay, so like for example in-game currencies or items or other virtual goods, right? So for example in the games we purchase currencies like coins multiple times, so that's a consumable that you purchase it, but user can purchase it multiple times. Non-consumable, it's kind of a one-time purchase, like for example unlocking a full version of an application or purchasing a permanent game character or like disabling the advertisement in the application. Those are one-time purchases, right? So that's a non-consumable purchase. Okay. Auto renewable means every month or every year, whatever your payment cycle is, okay, the subscription is gonna be auto renewed every payment cycle. Okay, so user don't need to do it manually, it will be auto renewed every payment cycle. And non-renewable means user can purchase it only once. Okay, this is still a subscription, but user can purchase it only once and for a specific duration of time, like they cannot purchase it every time continuously, right? So that's what the non-renewable subscription means. Okay, so there are 4 different in-app purchase subscriptions that that I have explained here. Now in terms of Blinkist, obviously they have a yearly and monthly plans, which is a recurring plan. So in terms of recurrings, we can use auto renewable subscriptions, right? So let's go to our portal, go to in-app purchase and enable the in-app purchase feature. So first thing, it's asking us for the response submission URL, and then it's also asking us for the there is a one add button which will allow us to create different product types here. Okay, but before going into this, okay, let's understand what this all information means. So response submission URL means, right now on the Blinkist website, whatever the subscription purchase flow they have, right, it's obviously they are connected with a different payment integrations, right? Whatever payment, if I click on this one, they will ask me to log in here, and then after they will go through the PayPal or Stripe or whatever payment integration they have. But in-app purchase is not going to use it, because in-app purchase means we need to use the Apple's and Google's integrated payment systems, right? So we cannot use the similar flow. Okay, so for that, what we need to do, first of all, we need to create these products, these in-app purchase products on App Store and Play Store accounts. Okay, that will be our first step. Second thing, we will be creating similar products on Twinr as well, basically. So to whatever product you have created on an App Store and Play Store account, you will be creating those products similarly here as well, and then you will be providing Android product ID and iOS product ID, which we'll be looking into it in a bit. Okay, what these IDs means, right? Now then after, we will need to integrate. So right now on click of this button, okay, basically it's bringing users to the whatever their current existing purchase flow is. But now in the mobile application, we want to interrupt this purchase flow. Instead of, we want to continue our in-app purchase flow, right? Okay, so once user will complete purchasing a product on the mobile device, now which is not directly connected to your website, which is a separately different purchase flow, right? So once user will finish purchasing a product on in the application itself, the Twinr will be submitting an information to you, okay, through a webhook URL. That's what the response submission URL means. We will be submitting an information on this URL as a post request that in the mobile application user did purchase this subscription. Okay, and we will be also providing all the information. So let's see what information Twinr will be providing. The first information is Twinr product ID. So as I said that once you will create a new product here inside the Twinr, okay, it will give you one dedicated Twinr product ID. Okay, so you will be able to get this information as well. Now store product ID. Store product ID means when you add a product, this one product is connected with Android product ID and iOS product ID. So for example, if you have both the devices and if you are supporting both the applications, Android and iOS, both the platforms, right? Then you create your in-app purchase product on Android App Store account, Play Store account, and attach both the IDs here. Okay, and then connect, and both these IDs basically will be connected to one Twinr product ID. Okay, so let's create one product right now, test here and test here, and submit it. Okay, so you see now I have one product here. Okay, Android, my Android product ID is this one, iOS is this one that we need to create on App Store and Play Store account, and the connected Twinr ID is this one. Okay, so when user will purchase from Android device, we will be sending you Android product ID and Twinr ID. When they will be purchasing from iOS, we will be sending you iOS product ID and Twinr product ID. Okay, so those are the store ID will be whatever the current platform ID is, Android or iOS. We will be also sending the platform, either it can be Android or it can be iOS, right? Purchase token. So whenever user will finish purchasing, Apple and Google will provide one purchase receipt that you can verify. Okay, so we will be providing that receipt as well, that you can, from your side, you can verify that the purchase is successful or not. Okay, but we will be doing verification from our end as well, and we will be also providing the information that purchase is successful or not. And then we will be also providing the user information, that which user has purchased the subscription. So for example, in Blinkist situation, when we log in, right, they are asking for an email address. So here under the user info, we will be sending an email address. Okay, so from the Twinr side, the Twinr will prepare this JSON, this information JSON, and then it will submit this JSON to this response submission URL as a post request. So from your side, whatever the URL you prepare, it should consume this JSON response. Okay, and then once it will get this JSON, you should basically provide this particular subscription to the designated user, whatever the user we have provided here. So that means user will continue purchasing it here. Once they will finish the purchasing, right, we will submit this response to the response submission URL, and then after you will basically provide this particular subscription to that user, whatever the subscription or whatever the one-time product or whatever they have purchased. Basically you just provide that particular product benefits to them. Okay, so that's what the end-to-end flow looks like. Now let's go to Play Store and see that what basically how we can create a in-app purchase application, right? How we can create in-app purchase product there. So here I will do that. Okay, so I'll go to Twinr, and then I'll go to my testing application here. Okay, and then once you go to your application here, under the app you will see in-app products here and subscriptions here. So in-app product means you can create consumable and non-consumable items here, right? And subscription means you can create your renewable and auto renewable subscriptions here. Okay, so right now I'm going to only go through the subscriptions here because that's what we need for the Blinkist, right? But if you want to see that how you can create consumable and non-consumable products, you can basically go to Android in-app purchase in the documentation, and then consumable, non-consumable, and subscription. All this information is available here. Everything step by step we have explained here, that how you can create different kind of products. Okay, so let's go to Play Store again, create a new subscription, provide the product ID. Now this is the product ID that we need to provide on the Twinr builder. Okay, so usually you should create a product ID like Blinkist underscore monthly, premium underscore monthly, because that's what their pricing plan names looks like. premium monthly and premium yearly. Okay, so Blinkist underscore premium underscore monthly, that's what will be, that will be my product ID, right? That's kind of an SKU, you know, in e-commerce and in those kind of categories we call it SKU, right? So this is kind of your SKU. Okay, now name will be premium monthly. Okay, and then create it. Okay, once we create it, we need to provide certain information. The first one is app subscription benefits, which is optional. So this is basically you need to list down all the benefits and information here. So user will get an information that when they will purchase this subscription, what kind of benefits they will get, right? Which I'm gonna skip for now. Okay, now we need to add a base plan. So base plan means what will be our monthly plan. So first of all, we need to create the plan ID. So again, I can provide the same thing, premium dash monthly. Okay, we cannot use any spaces or anything. We can only use number, letters, A to Z or hyphens. So premium monthly will be good for me. Now the type is obviously auto renewing. So I'm creating auto renewing subscription. So which is this one, right? If you are creating non-renewable subscription, then this is prepaid. Okay, my billing period is gonna be monthly. Grace period is good. All the settings are really good. So I'm not gonna do anything here. Okay. Now let's go here. If you want to add some tags here, you can do that as well. This is purely for your purpose. Now we need to set the price. So let's click on the set prices button here and then select. So if you want to set price separately, differently for different countries, you can do that as well. Or else you can select all the countries all together. Click on a set price button. And here I want to set the price. Let's go here, which is $15.99 per month. Okay. So I'll change this to USD and $15.99. Okay, so my first product is created here. Save it and then I'm gonna activate it. Now we need to activate this product, otherwise we will not be able to test it inside the application. Okay, so now first thing, that we can't really preview or we can't really test the subscriptions, the in-app purchases in the preview app. So what you will need to do, you will need to go to the portal. After all the setups, everything that you do, okay, you need to go to app build and request a new build for your application, and then after you will be able to test it. Okay, so first of all, you need to make yourself tester users. That you can do that. How you can do that, we have covered that information here as well, that how you can set yourself as a licensed tester here on Play Store account, right? And then how you can set up and invite yourself and what other settings you need to do. Okay, we have all the information available here. Okay, so I'm not going into that for now. Okay, so now let's go to portal again, and under the in-app purchase, we need to enable the in-app purchase. We need to provide the submission URL, which I'm going to provide any dummy URL for now. And let's create our product here, which is auto renewable subscription, Android product ID. So I'll go here, and then my product ID is, sorry, let's go back. And then my product ID is Blinkist Premium Monthly. So this will be my Android product ID. iOS product ID, we didn't created it yet, but we have again all the information available here, that how we can create products, consumable, non-consumable, auto renewable, non-renewable on iOS. So everything is there. Okay, so I'm gonna use similar one on iOS for now and submit this and save it as a draft. Okay, so I have created my first product here. Okay, so as you can see that I have provided, so it has basically given me my Twinr ID here, TWIAP813. That's what my Twinr ID is. Now let me explain that what is the purpose of this Twinr ID and how you need to use this. Okay, so let's go to help doc again, and under this documentation, now obviously we want to interrupt this purchase flow. So in the mobile application, when user click on this button, right, instead of going through that Blinkist normal purchase flow, we want to use the in-app purchase. So there are two ways to do that. First one is to use the custom URLs that we have prepared, and the second one is using our JavaScript bridge. Okay, so let's understand what is that. Okay, so now for example you have everything set up there. Okay, and now you are ready to set up your website, and you need to set up your custom URL. So custom URL means we have prepared this URL for you, where in a purchase / twinr.dev, and the product ID equal to this URL is gonna be similar, and you need to replace the Twinr ID here with whatever the Twinr with whatever the product ID you have. Okay, so what you need to do, so for example on your website, when user click on this button, instead of using this URL, whatever the URL you have right now, okay, you need to use this URL, this in-app purchase URL, okay, which will look something like this: product ID equal to, if I go here, then this is my product ID, right? Then this ID, that's how it looks like. Let's copy this. Okay, now I'm not going to update, I will not be able to update these settings on the Blinkist website. I do not have obviously have permission to do that, right? So what I'll do, I'll create temporary under the screens menu, under the explore screen. I'm going to create one navigation bar button, temporary, okay, which will be executing the similar URL, this URL. Okay, button icon, let me select one icon for now. Yeah, the dollar icon looks good, and add this and save it as a draft. Now let's go here and reload this screen and explore. So you see now I have this button available here, and let's click on it. Now obviously it's gonna return me a purchase error because in iOS we did not create this product, right? So let's click OK. Okay, I have the application here. Let me refresh this. Okay, we did created a product ID in Android, right? So let's go to explore now and click on this $sign. So you see it started the purchase flow here. Okay, so because I have created the product ID in Android, everything is good there, right? And I will be able to test this here as well. Okay, so it says that my product name is Premium Monthly, which is what we have provided there, right now my application is Twinr demo, which is fine. Pricing is 20.99. It's because it has converted it into Canadian dollar, which is my local currency right now. Okay, and then you see we have a test card and always declines option, and another option is test card always approves. So for the testing purpose, currently I am a test user, I am a licensed test user, right? That's why it gives me these two options. Otherwise for the normal user it's not gonna be there. Okay, so let me use this one, and then the next thing we will need to use is click on the subscribe button. So let's click on the subscribe button here. So now I am subscribed to this plan. Okay, and now the Twinr is trying to submit a response that user has purchased the subscription, and then after it has failed because the response submission URL is wrong right now. Okay, it's not accepting whatever the information we are providing, and that's why it says it failed. But otherwise in normal situation it's gonna be all good for you. Okay, all good, perfect. So now we have integrated our in-app purchase flow, right, using one situation, which is our custom URL. Now another way to do that is using our JavaScript function. Okay, so for example, if you don't want to use the custom URL right now, right, then you can use JavaScript function as well. So in this function, what you need to do, that you just need to execute this function whenever you want to start the purchase flow. So for example, on this button click, you need to execute this method as a script. Okay, and when you will execute this method, it's gonna start the purchasing. So let's do that as well. Let's go to Twinr builder, right? Again, go to explore. Let me remove this linker button and save it as a draft. And let me create another button, which is a JS injector button. And then, yeah, select an icon here, which let me again select the dollar icon. Where is the dollar icon? Yeah, update this and then add this method here. Okay, Twinr ID TWIAP813, that's what our ID is, right? So we need to provide this ID inside a single bracket and add this method here. Now we have enabled the JS injector button, save it as a draft. Now let's go here again, Blinkist, and then explore. You see now I have this again, this button here, and let me click on this. So it says that you are already subscribed to premium monthly Twinr demo. So let me go here, manage subscriptions, and kind of cancel this subscription for now for our testing purpose. I found a better app. Continue, cancel subscriptions, right? And let's go to our app again, which is this one. Okay, purchase failed, which is fine. Click on this $sign again, and you see now I'm able to purchase it again, right? So basically you can use either a custom URL or you can use this JavaScript method, whatever you prefer based on your use cases. You can use any of them to start the purchase flow whenever you want it. Okay, so that's what our in-app purchase add-ons and extension looks like, which is very flexible and very easy to integrate. The only thing you need to provide is a response submission URL. Everything else is basically a data entry, and you just need to create the information on App Store and Play Store accounts, and that's it, right? So yeah, that's pretty much it. Then there are certain other things that we can discuss about, is about push notifications as well. So because of a time limit, I'm not going through all this information now, but now in Twinr 2.0 we do support personalized push notification and abandoned cart push notifications as well. So abandoned cart is not really useful for book kind of applications, but personalized is really information. For example, if you want to like notify a single user based on their likings and everything, you want to recommend them a special books or something, right? Then, or maybe you want to notify about their subscription end or something like that, right? About their subscription renewal period or something as a notification, then you can use the personalized push notifications as well. Okay, so yeah, in this application we did everything end to end: branding, our theme, our screen customizations, we did integrated add-ons, in-app purchase as well. We did support that feature now, so you can integrate it for both Android and iOS platforms, push notification as well, and few other things. And then now the next step is to like build your applications and then submit it to Play Store and App Store accounts. And anytime if you need any our help, you can always contact us through our live chat, or you can set up a meeting with us. So that's it for this webinar, and I'll see you guys in the next one. In the meantime, if you guys have any other questions or concerns, you can always reach out to us via our live chat, or you can send us an email on hello@twinr.dev. You can also refer to our help documentation at help.twinr.dev for the detailed information. So thank you again, and thanks for joining us in this webinar.